Panther people, what is up? Thank God we recorded this episode at this point in the day. Adam Schefter at ESPN making official what Diana Rossini was reporting earlier today when it comes to now former Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Julio Jones. So the Falcons will get a second-round pick for next year's draft, a 2023 fourth-round pick. The Falcons are trading Julio Jones to the Tennessee Titans. He's going to be linking up with Ryan Tannehill. A.J. Brown as well. That could be a pretty scary duo right there, as well as Derrick Henry. Wow, I'm just putting this all together. That is quite the offense. The Atlanta Falcons are going to receive a second-round pick next year and a fourth and a sixth in the 2023 draft. And the Titans will then receive Julio Jones. It's a little bittersweet as well because I was kind of banking because when they picked up J.C. Horn, he is a big corner, 6'1", 6'2", 200 pounds, super physical, awesome press corner, just gets in your face, an agitator. I would have loved to see him link up with Julio Jones. Julio Jones probably saw that go down. He's like, shoot. Yeah, I think I'd rather take on the Jacksonville Jaguars and Houston Texans twice. I'm going to give my respect to the Indianapolis Colts. I think they're going to be good with Carson Wentz. But Julio going to the AFC South, leaving the crazy-ass NFC South, I think it's going to be a good thing for the division. It's going to be a good thing for Julio because I think he's going to make some noise out there. Welcome to Panthers Post. I'm Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining. Respect for just Googling and YouTubing Carolina Panthers in the middle of June. The season is still months away, but the fact that you Googled Carolina Panthers means that you're invested in this team, so I hope you invest in us with just, a subscription, a like, being a part of the comment community. It is super dope. It's opened up a couple doors for us here at Panthers Post. I say it in plural because it takes my wife to understand that I'm doing this, my kid to take naps so I can film these, and also for my dog to zip it so he doesn't bark behind me while I'm talking. We are now over 650 subscribers. We only launched right before the draft, so late April, and the fact that we're just in very early June and we're already near 700 subscribers, try to reach our goal to 1,000 by the season, that's going to be dope. OTA's in full swing in Charlotte, and it's great to see the starters and some of the important players, the impact players, still making the most of this time. Because as we know, once they wrap up, there's really not much they're going to be doing until training camp later on in the summer.
Bonding is one thing, but also, the ability to take time, work on technique, work on some situational things that we might not have, the opportunity to last year without OTAs. So just taking advantage of the time that we have.
It's a time for them to learn the scheme, the technique, everything, so we can go into camp full stride. We don't have to go through that teaching stage anymore. So having this is definitely a benefit.
In tune with being locked in through a computer or through an iPad and getting them reps and I guess learning the little things of the offense was really off to me last year. And this year was a lot easier because I can actually hear it through someone face to face and actually talk through it on the field.
I had OTAs for 3 years now, so it really don't feel no different. But that's really it. It just don't feel different to me.
Let's stay with DJ Moore. And the most important question that he received was from Joe Person. DJ, do you feel faster wearing number 2?
Do I feel fast? Nah, I feel a little faster. Like every year I feel like I get faster, but the number ain't got nothing to do with it.
During Panthers Confidential, that YouTube behind-the-scenes look at the Carolina Panthers, you saw a scene where Robbie Anderson was at his home in Florida talking with DJ Moore. He was looking through his Jets memorabilia. He actually mentions Sam Darnold by name during that little clip. And the only problem is he's still in Florida. And it's not the Florida Panthers. It's not a hockey team. It's the Carolina Panthers. So Robbie still hasn't been at these OTAs. They're optional. However, these seems like a optional, wink, wink, team activity. It seems like, hey, if you want to be a part of this, you should probably be here unofficially. But his absence has been felt, and it's been talked about a lot. And DJ was asked, what's up with Robbie?
I'm not concerned about it. We talk every day. I try to keep him in the loop. I know he's working hard. Like everybody on his team know he's working hard down where he stay at. So whatever he's doing is whatever he's doing. Like he's getting better. We want him here. I would love him here because that's my boy. But I know he's working hard, so I'm cool with it.
And this might be hearkening back to that Walter football rumor that the Panthers are open to discussing trading Robbie Anderson. They did draft Terrace Marshall in the second round out of LSU. He's a big body, younger wide receiver. He's very versatile, the same way Robbie Anderson is. He can play in the slot. He can also play out wide as well. DJ says he talks to Robbie every single day. He says that's his dude. And so I'm sure he keeps him in the loop of how the offense is looking, what to expect. And let's be honest, he's played with Sam Darnold. He knows what to expect out of Sam. He doesn't really need to, get used to how he throws or, his timing and stuff like that. He has that down pat. Another wide receiver making a lot of noise in Charlotte, but for actually being on the field with his teammates is the new number 12, Shi Smith out of South Carolina. Josh Klein out of the Roaring Riot and Panther Social shared some pretty impressive footage, whether it's a photo or a video of Shi Smith making a catch while being covered. But not only that, he's showing some serious separation. That is the key in the NFL. You can be as fast as you want. You can have as good hands as you want. If you cannot escape pressure, if you can't escape that press coverage and get distance, as much distance between yourself and the defensive back as possible, you ain't going to cut it. Let's head to the defensive side of the ball. And if you haven't heard yet, Jeremy Chinn is playing safety.
As far as making plays, they can be made at either position. When you're a linebacker, you're a little bit closer to the ball, a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. So that plays a factor. But, when you're a safety, you can also make plays on the ball in the air.
I feel like this is only going to make him a better player. Spending time in the linebacker room and now spending time in the DB room. He played safety in Southern Illinois, so I feel like getting a little bit of a taste of life as a linebacker, being a run stuffer, and also covering tight ends and stuff like that is just going to make him a better safety as well in the long run. He was nominated for Rookie Defensive Player of the Year, and I feel like he's going to follow in the steps of Luke Kuechly and eventually hoist a Defensive Player of the Year outright sometime in the future. Brian Burns could be the guy.
We up and running now. I don't feel like a lot of things can stop us this year.
Just looking at Brian Burns, dude looks like a leader. And I know he's coming off a procedure on his shoulder. Could have fooled me. Check out how this dude is looking right now.
I'm putting the weight back on, but I'm actually heavier than I was last year. So yes, I did get bigger.
So he's put on a couple lbs. I'm assuming it's all lean muscle. I don't even know if his body could produce fat at this point. I know his favorite superhero is Spider-Man. He is looking like Spider-Man. We already know how long he is. He's a dope-ass dancer. But now he looks like he has that superhuman strength, just like iron fibers coursing through his muscles. All right, I'm painting too much of a picture here. But the guy looks like he's in great shape, and it's still early June. He can still tack on a little bit more weight as well, a little bit more strength and power to make himself and Hassan Reddick two edge guys you do not want to mess with.
He's going to make me go even harder because it's going to be a little competition now in the room to who can get the sack the fastest. And also, he's just going to take a lot of attention off of me, with the O-line and everything, so they just can't slide to my side or anything like that. They're going to have to pick their poison.
And again, this is another young guy. Let's all remember, the Carolina Panthers are officially the youngest team in the NFL. So you got a guy like Brian Burns, who's in his early 20s, who is already taking on the responsibility of being a leader. Here's what he had to say about being a leader on this team.
Even though it was my second year and I had limited snaps my first year, but I had to grow up because I had basically a defense almost full of rookies. I think it was 6 or 7 rookies playing at a time. So I had to grow up and kind of show them the ropes. And going into this year, I definitely got to have that leadership role because now we have even more rookies. But that's something that I'm going to embrace and I want to, take part of.
I think Brian Burns is going to explode this year. I think with the added on weight, the strength, the power, his shoulder will be feeling good as well, so he can swim and rip dudes on the offensive line, running backs or tight ends who try to block him. Look at the quarterbacks that he's going up against right now in the NFC South. So Drew Brees is gone. At this point, it could be Jameis Winston, who he can easily run down and take advantage of. You got Tom Brady, mind you, a really good offensive line, but again, adding that strength and power and experience as a whole in another year in the pros, I feel like just getting through an offensive tackle or maybe a double team and then just trying to track down the statue that is Tom Brady, I feel like he can definitely sack him multiple times in a game. As we know, Julio Jones isn't going to be there. Their main offensive weapon right now is going to be Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts. And Kyle Pitts could take some time to come around, so he has really just one dude right now in Calvin Ridley, and so he's going to be a one-look guy. And so if the defensive backs with the Carolina Panthers lock down their one-star receiver, hopefully Kyle Pitts acts like a rookie, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to perform. And I think Matt Ryan, again, another one of those statue-type quarterbacks, like a Tom Brady, like a Drew Brees, is no longer in the league right now. I think Brian Burns is going to eat quarterbacks this year. Let's switch to the other side of the ball now, to the offensive line. And let's just focus on the tackle position, because at this point, it is the most important right now with the Panthers. The Panthers still have not found themselves that franchise left tackle since Jordan Gross hung up the cleats and lost about 150 pounds and is better shape than most people in their 20s. So now they got to find that franchise left tackle. Who's it going to be? And are they even on the team right now? Let's start on the right side, because that's where the least amount of debate is right now. It's going to be Taylor Moton. He is the starting right tackle for this team, unless they for some reason move him to the left side in case that Brady Christensen isn't developing the way that they thought he could, or potentially Cameron Ervin just continues to do what he has been showing in the pro so far, just not being that reliable. So maybe Taylor Moton moves to the left in an emergency situation. But at this point, optimally, he stays on the right side, because right now in the NFL, you don't just have rushers rushing a quarterback who's mainly going to be right-handed on their blind side. You got rushers on both sides. Let's shift over to the left side. Now, we talked about the possibility of Moton potentially moving to the left side, protecting Sam Darnold's blind side there. But let's say he is just solidified as the starting right tackle. Let's focus on the left. And there is a dark horse candidate for what I've been reading, is that Dennis Daly, who played in the left guard position last year before ending up on the injured reserve, could be somebody that Rule and Brady could be looking at to try to coach him up to be on the left-hand side. Trent Scott out of Grambling State, who told the Carolina Panthers to bring in David Moore from his alma mater as an unrestricted free agent, played 4 games last year at the left tackle position, so he should also be someone mentioned as someone who could be rotating in that position leading up to the regular season. Let's talk about Brady Christensen out of BYU. He is a older rookie, 24 years old, did a mission out in New Zealand. Let's harken back to Panthers Confidential, which we mentioned and we broke down a couple episodes ago. But Matt Rule, when they were about to draft Brady Christensen, went to Scott Fitter and reminded him, hey, Brady Christensen, he is a second-round guard, third-round tackle. That could paint a picture unless he blows him away in OTAs and in training camp. He looks like he could be starting his pro career on the interior side, which is not a bad thing because he's a super athletic guy. He's a monster of a man. So to have someone in that position to start off, get their feet wet, get smashed a little bit on the field, not off the field, stay sober, or get pulled over. Sorry. PSAs. I feel like he's going to start on the guard position. We're going to touch on that position in other episodes for now. But I feel like Christensen could be a left tackle in the making. But right now, I feel like he's going to start in the guard position based purely on his skill set and also where the coaching staff sees his strengths right now as a rookie. Let's talk about Greg Little. Now, we mentioned how Ian Thomas has had a hot seat entering this season and whether he's going to have a job or not in Charlotte. Greg Little is also in the same boat. He has to show this squad, this coaching staff, who did not have anything to do with the fact that he's a pro right now. He was a Marty Herney era guy, that he should be in the running for the starting left tackle position. Let's mention who I think is going to be the starting left tackle when the Panthers take on the Jets at Bank of America Stadium to kick off week 1 in this season, and that's Cam Erving. While he has this weird rap, busts don't last 7+ years in the NFL. Busts don't start 8 games for a Super Bowl winning offensive line in the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's remind people, this is the youngest team in the NFL. We have very few guys, if any, that have won a ring at this level on the field as a player. And so you have someone like Cam Erving, whatever you want to say, fans, in the locker room, he is somebody that I hope that the offensive line and other players on this team can kind of listen to, because he's been there, he's done that, he's faced adversity despite being with a monstrosity of a team that is the Kansas City Chiefs when they won 2 years ago, but he's done it, plain and simple. He's been in the league for 7 years. He is a seasoned vet that someone on this team just doesn't have. So whether you like it or not, I feel like he's going to be starting at left tackle, and I feel like Scott Fitter or Matt Rule, they're going to be kind of treating this left tackle position kind of like the quarterback position. They're just going to be throwing darts, as many darts as they can. If someone becomes available that fits their profile on what a left tackle should be, they're just going to, hand them contracts. It's not a huge contract, but, he's not the richest left tackle in the league. And Sam Darnold's not the richest quarterback in the league, but they're just going to keep taking shots, as many shots as they can in 2 very important positions, quarterback and left tackle, until they find the right person. All right, that's my look at the left tackle position. Let's stay on the offense before we head out here. Very special happy birthday, happy 24th birthday to quarterback Sam Darnold. We've been talking about this for a million weeks now. Sam Darnold, he's younger than most of the quarterbacks in this year's draft. He's in 4 years in the league now. So we don't have to talk about it anymore. Dude's 24. He turned 24. He is still very young, still very coachable, very malleable, very salvageable as a quarterback. I hope he had a great birthday. He seems to like golf. Hopefully you got a round of golf in and had some time with your family. I hope you got a bed frame. I hope you got a TV. I hope the whiteboard is a little dirty for you writing plays and all that jazz. Basically, I just hope you're doing well, man, because to be honest, your condo looked kind of sad. What is not sad is former Carolina Panther, potentially future Hall of Famer Greg Olsen. While he's an amazing player, he is also a father and a husband. And we all know that his son TJ was having issues with his heart. And it was less than a month ago where Greg announced that his son's heart was basically about to run out. It was just, it had a finite amount of time that was going to be fully functional for his 8-year-old son. But gosh, things turned around. Obviously, it had to take someone else losing somebody close to them. But his son TJ found a donor pretty quickly. Most people, I know someone who was waiting for a kidney transplant, and they were on that list for years. And so for the fact that his son could find a proper donor that matches everything that they needed so quickly, and it seems like the surgery went really well and that he's going to recoup. That's the best thing about kids at that age. They're going to bounce back. It's so great. So that's it for me at Panthers Post. I'm Phil Perkins. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Panthers Post. Number 1, like Killer Cam. We got to wrap this thing up because it is sweaty AF in here. I'm wearing gray. This is a poor fashion choice. If you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe. Make sure to enter the comments community. It is a super beautiful place. Let's keep that 100% like ratio going down. And if you aren't new here, thanks for coming back. This is just the beginning. Stay tuned. We're going to have a mashup that you thought you didn't need until that moment. We're going to talk about that later on the next couple of days. I do appreciate you guys. Again, like, subscribe, comment, and spread the word. See you guys next week.